And here it is. Ladies, welcome to another self-love conversation. My name is Gloria Ward, and tonight we are sitting with an amazing woman, Dr. Nicole Bradford. She's an author, she's a motivator. She's here to give us some tips on how we can live our best life. And also, one of the things I wanted to talk about, Dr. Bradford, is with the holidays coming up, how do we maintain all of that stuff that we believe is going to happen, and how we can actually start to set our mindset up so that we can really get on track for 2023. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being with me with Self-Love Conversation.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just tell me, how did you get here? Your background, I know you said was education, but how did it progress to what you're doing now?
Well, it all began, I've started speaking all the way in 1995. I've been speaking on and off, but I really wanted to take the speaking to another level. I believe it came to me in 2018. I lost my sister. She was 48 years old at the time, and
Mm,
she had recently retired. And so it just made me think a lot about her life. She was in the process of planning for her 50th birthday that she was unable to attend. And so it just made me think, we want to make sure that we're living our life to the fullest because we never know. So maintain the flame, believe it or not, was not only established based on her life and our relationship, but also it got me to thinking about when we were younger, we had this zest for life. We loved life. We had so much fun. We just wanted to go to the playground. We didn't care who was around. We'd wear our favorite outfits. We'd live life to the fullest. But then as we transition into the adult world, quote unquote, we have all the pressures of the world. And sometimes we tend to conform. And so we go into moving to parenthood, being adult parents, having children, and having the time that we have to commit to them, to moving into our in laws, getting married, and the pressures
mm,
of, hey, this is my holiday and not your holiday. And that control that goes into that and having to balance that out. But then also going into the work world where there's different expectations of you. You may see a couple of things and you'll think, hey, that's not right or that's not fair, but we're afraid to stand up because of who we're around. So maintain the flame was established so that we can always keep our fire lit for life. Whatever it is that you enjoyed doing when you were younger, get back to it and tap into that person that you have on the inside and start living and designing the life that you deserve.
Well, I love that because one of the reasons why I started the I'm Loving Me project, and one of the reasons why I, do my best to really live my life, is because my sister too died. She was 40 years old,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And now I'm 43. So she died of a pulmonary embolism. She was coming out of the house, Dr. Bradford, to go to the mall
Mhm.
with my cousin and her pastor, and she just fell right there. And they were there when she took her last breath, and then they, called me to tell me what happened. She didn't know she was going to die that day. She didn't know there was anything going on with her, right?
Mhm.
Because those are silent killers, right?
Yes.
And I just said to myself, if you want to know how it feels to be in a situation where you're here one day and you're gone the next, that's exactly what I felt. And I could tell you from then on, I was like, what the hell am I worried about?
There you
Right?
go.
And it's kind of like what you said, because I was in a marriage and I said to myself, why am I doing a whole bunch of stuff to try to make this work? Why am I holding on to this idea,
Yes.
right? Because that's what we do, right? Holding on this idea of who I think I should be, because if I let it go, people are going to start saying things and doing things. And
Mhm.
I said, forget all of that. I'm going to live the life that I want to live, and I'm going to experience that. But that is so hard. Why do you think? See, to me, I think that we as people, we have to feel like we got to hit rock bottom, or, someone has to pass away or anything like that. Why can't we get it just by someone pouring into us or influencing us? Why do we feel like we have to hit rock bottom or have one of those experiences?
Because we look around and we say, girl, that sounds good. That worked for you. But I don't know about for me. Because,
Yeah,
we get all of this advice, or it's easy for you. You're stronger than I am. So we don't
hmm
look inside and value what we have on the inside, because you already have on the inside of you everything you need to accomplish your goals and to live the life that you want. But it's on the
right.
other side of that fear. And so you have to
Mm,
be courageous enough to say, you know what, fear, you're not going to keep me from my goals. You're not going to keep me from that relationship or the life that I dreamed of. And then again, it goes back to being in that childhood. When you were
right,
young and you saw that hottie sitting across the room, you didn't care. Oh, I'm about to go talk to him. You
right.
had that courage and you didn't worry about that. Then we get older, and I'm 48 and we're conservatives. I can't go say hi to
Yeah,
him. But you didn't
yeah.
worry about it when you were younger. So tap
Uh-huh.
into that younger self that, you know what, I'm going to try this job adventure, or I'm going to try to build this business, and stop looking around and, well, theirs is working. Well, they got 4 likes and I got 3. Well, you know
Right,
what? You can advocate for everybody else. So, you know what? When you post that, don't wait for nobody to like it yourself. And I
right.
have 3 amazing children. My oldest is 25. She's a graduate of Hampton University. My baby son
Okay.
is at Angelo State. He's a sophomore, and my baby's at UNT. And I tell them
Mm,
all the time, don't wait for nobody to cheer you on. Cheer for
right.
yourself. And you have that same energy. And when you believe in your goals and your dreams, you're going to say, fear, you don't have to get beside me because I got something I'm trying to accomplish. And that's where we
Mhm.
have to know the strength is inside of you, but you just have to believe.
And I think it takes time to get there, especially if you grew up in a situation where you always heard a lot of negative things. One of the things that I, experienced, even talking to the women who, listen to this platform, is the fact that, I didn't grow up that way. I was always told that I was stupid and I couldn't do this. And, my third grade teacher is in the back of my head that told me I wouldn't amount to anything and I couldn't write, right? And now you're 50 and you're still thinking about that third grade teacher. You're still thinking about what your mother said to you. You're still thinking about those things, where that's really where the fear comes from. So it's like, how I don't care how much Bible verses right? How much you say that you want something, that fear is like that stronghold, right?
Mhm.
Because of what happened in your childhood. How do you how do you start to break out of that? Because most of the time, Dr. Bradford, that is the main reason why we can't achieve our goals or move forward, because of what someone told you when you were young and
Mhm.
you believed it and you digested it.
Yes. Well, I would say, in life, how many times have we gone to Target and Walmart? You walk in Target and Walmart and you say, I'm about to run in here. I'm going to get a bag of sugar and I'm going home and make that cake. You get
Right.
that card and you get to walking and wait, I'm going to pick some of that up. And I'm going to pick
Yep.
some of that up. And you just putting everything in that basket. Well, that's the
Yeah.
same way we are in life. Oh,
hmm
you said I couldn't do it? Let me have some of that to put in this basket. Oh, you say I'm not smart enough, and we keep putting all of that in the basket. But we have to take time to say, you know what? This basket, I can't even get to the checkout line because it's too heavy. Take your stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care if you
Yeah.
don't think I can read or write. I don't care if you don't think I'm smart enough. I'm going to give you that back because it's not mine to carry, and I'm going to push forward. And it's
Right.
easier said than done. I know myself, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. And
hmm
and I know being 48, it was kind of in our generation, some of the things that we may have been heard and told. My mom
Right.
would always say, I remember one time after church, this lady came and she said, I got a book for Nicole. And I was so excited. I'm gonna get a book. And my mama said, girl, don't you give her that book. She ain't the smart one. Give it to her sister Felicia. And that just crushed me. And I'm
Ooh-wee.
like, wait a minute. But that
Yeah.
at times All of the negative and the positive is all in our mind and in our mindset. And if you hold on to that, it's going to keep you bound. But you know what? Not only did my mom move on from that statement, God rest her soul, she kept pressing on. But how am I going to
Mm-hmm.
look sitting back here at that thought, sitting in that parking lot at church at 10 years old, and life didn't pass me by? You're going to have to
Exactly.
push through those difficult moments. And even in my home, I witnessed domestic violence. There were
Mm-hmm.
times I had family members that were involved in drugs and selling drugs, and it's difficult. So you think in your mind, this is the life that's supposed to be for me. I'm supposed to be a product of my environment. But no,
Right.
ma'am. Again, you have to decide what your standards are. You have to decide what you deserve, and then you need to move forward. Give people back their baggage and their lies and labels and limitations and begin to move forward for yourself and for your life and your sanity.
And I also say too, because even though the environment I grew up with in the Bronx and, mom died of AIDS and all being around drugs and everything, it's always still a little bit of something inside of you that is always talking, saying, this is not your life. You have more than this.
Mhm,
And, like I would tell the women, I always felt that as a kid,
mhm,
but it was more like, how do I exercise that? And I tell them the reason why you listen and the reason why you follow someone like you or me or anyone, because you feel it inside. You just don't know how to execute it because the only thing you know is what you've been told, right?
mhm.
So when you have to be able to start to listen to that small still voice more than you listen to that voice that is pounding at you, telling you you can't do it, you can't do this, it's not possible. You have to be able to rely on those things that you feel,
Mhm.
but you just don't know how to, bring that out. I had one lady tell me, she said, Gloria, to be honest with you, I really don't know what love is. You know, love to me was giving my body away because I was molested, right? Love was making sure that whatever I did, I gave, myself or my time or whatever to someone else. So when I got married, I did the same thing, right? And then when you tell me about self love and how to love myself, and I have to turn that around, well, what does that look like? Right? And I
Mhm.
have to tell them, didn't you always get that little tremble in your stomach that says something ain't right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Something
Mhm.
ain't right. Didn't you always get that little feeling to say, I know my life could be better, but we have to learn how to do a couple of things. And the big one I want you to talk about is this whole concept of forgiveness, right? Because that's the biggest thing. Since we're holding on to that fear, we're holding on to what these people said. We have to be able to understand they did the best they could with what they had.
There you go.
They was only doing what they knew.
Mhm.
And you have to learn how to forgive. Can you talk about that?
Yes, and forgiveness is so powerful because we all know when you have the strength to forgive someone, you're not doing it just for them, you're doing it for yourself. So you're able to move on and to become stronger and do the things that you need to do for your life. And I know even as I shared with you, witnessing the domestic violence and in the situations that I had in my childhood, in 2019, I had the opportunity to bring my parents here to live with me. And in 2021, I lost my dad. In April of 2022, I lost my mom. And so,
Wow.
no, I wasn't their favorite. And
Mm-hmm.
losing two parents within 10 months of each other, throughout that process, I was able to be there to nurture and support them, but most importantly, forgive them for some of the traumatizing events that I experienced as a child. It was so freeing for me. So I think that, of course, we all know that God knows what He's doing in the process. So there's a reason they ended up with me for their last 3 years of their life, because not only was I there to support them, but they gave me the strength that I needed to not only forgive them, but to move past and become a stronger woman so that I can know what's next for me and what lies ahead.
That's amazing. I love that because, everybody doesn't get that chance to, make that peace and forgive. And when the people leave this world, they feel like they have this emptiness with them, right? Or if they feel like the people are still walking around, that they have this envy and this anger. And I tell them, these people are walking around, sleeping at night,
That's right.
living their life,
Hmm.
done forgot all about you,
Yes.
right? Done moved on to the next person, and here you are holding them
Yeah.
right in your mind all day, every day because you're angry. It is up to you at this point to go ahead and let that go. And it's like now, like I want to talk about, we're getting into the holiday season, right, Dr. Bradford? These people are coming back. They're
Yeah.
coming back for
With-
Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yes.
They coming for Thanksgiving. They coming
Hmm.
for Christmas. Y'all all want to get together, but you want to make sure Lisa ain't coming with her 4 kids and all the
Yeah.
stuff running around, everything, right? What can they start to practice and do now so that they can, be in the right frame of mind where they can handle whatever's coming forward for them for the holidays?
Well, journaling is always something that's good, getting your feelings out, but also accepting that the situations that occurred is in the past. And we're
Yeah.
not living in the past. And we've got to learn to live in the moment. There might have been different problems that they were dealing with or relationship on their job. And most of the time, when people have an issue with you, it has less to do with you and more to do with who they are as an individual. So take time to reflect on what happened, but journal. Get your feelings out, get your concerns out, and know, okay, this is going to be a new day. But at the same time, know I'm going to set boundaries. There are
Yeah,
things that I am and I will and will not accept. And one thing I always tell my own kids, even though they're adults now, you teach people how to treat you. And I think that that's so important that we understand that because they're only going to continue to come over there and say, girl, you can't cook nothing because
yeah,
you allow and you're not
that's
standing
right.
up and you're not speaking up. Or girl, we don't have to take our shoes off when we come in your house. This is what we do.
Hmm.
No, that's what you do at your house. But here you're
That's
going
right.
to respect my rules. So standing up, setting up those boundaries and journaling so you can get your feelings out so you can prepare yourself that okay, this is how I'm going to attack it, this is how I'm going to address it, but I'm also going to live in the moment and I'm going to enjoy myself with my family and my friends because that's what I deserve.
Exactly. And I tell the ladies also, if you continue to blame them, that means that you don't have to change.
That's right.
When you change,
Mhm.
then everyone else around you will change or they will move out the way,
That's
right?
right. Mm.
So if you are expecting, Uncle Larry to act the same way, right?
Mhm.
And if he is the same person, or even if he's a different person, you already going in there with the mindset that it's going to be something terrible. It's going
Yeah.
to be something negative, right? You
Mhm.
already setting yourself up for it, right? But if you change, then
We
the
have no choice.
environment changes,
That's right.
right? It's like you said, if you go ahead and set the boundaries, then things around you will change because now you have this shield around you where people have to respect your space. They have to respect, what you're saying and how you want to be treated. And if not, you could always take your plate and go.
There you go. That's right. And
You
you have
know,
but you have to be strong enough to say that and mean it.
exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I was saying earlier when you was talking about fear, that strength to just stand up for yourself is the main thing that has to happen, not only for your family, but for your job, like you said, and just for like your relationships and everything, right?
Mhm.
So tell us about your book.
Well, my book is One Step is All It Takes. And it has Bible verses in there. It's a journal that you can keep with you for 30 days to kind of reset. and it will give you strategies to address any concerns or situations that you're dealing with, but it will keep you motivated because we know if you walk into a house or you walk into a building, you can't get to the second stairs or the second level just by jumping. It's going to take
Right,
one step at a time. And that's the
right.
same thing with life. You're going to encounter your challenges and your problems. But if you get up every day and say, okay, today I'm going to go walk. I may walk to the end of the street and come back. At least I walk. Or today I'm on a diet. I'm gonna change my eating and I'm gonna try something different. And for me, I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get off of that caffeine. And I'll say, okay, Nicole, then we just gonna try to not have some Dr. Pepper for now.
That's
But
right.
I'm not at a 6 pack, but I
Yeah.
might be at 3 Dr. Peppers today. So
Yeah.
just one step is all it takes for whatever it is that's standing in front of you, keeping you from that relationship you want, keeping you from the job you want, keeping you from that business that you want. You need to put those positive affirmations. You speak life to and speak life over who you are and what you desire to be and watch God work.
Oh man, it's like, they need that now. So you have the whole month of November to go ahead and practice. So when the holidays do come
That's
around, you could just you
there
could
you
just
go.
open your book and just make sure you got your words of affirmation there that you have been memorizing because
That's
you've been practicing,
yes,
and it's like this journey, everybody thinks it's such hard work and you gotta, do so much stuff with it. And I tell the ladies, you still human, you're still gonna have fun, you are gonna have some setbacks, but the beauty is now you're aware,
yes,
and that's what it's about, right? We're not doing a six pack of Dr. Pepper, like you said, but we're doing three, but we aware that we changing,
there you go.
right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
that's the beauty of life. That's when you know that you're living. Because sometimes when we do this work, Dr. Bradford, it's like when you feel like you messed up, you like, see, this doesn't work,
You're right.
right?
Mhm.
Oh my God, now I got to start all over because I knew I couldn't diet. I knew I couldn't do this. I knew I couldn't commit to it, but I did it anyway because I didn't want nobody to say anything. It's not that. No, there is no such thing as a smooth mountain,
There you
right?
go. Mhm.
There's no such thing as a smooth mountain. You got to be able to know that it's going to take time. It took you, however old you are, to
There
get
you go.
into the habits that you are doing right now.
Mhm.
And to break those is not going to take you 10 days, 5 days. It's practice, right?
Yes, yes. And you have to keep yourself encouraged. And so that's why those scriptures or those positive affirmations, and most importantly, identifying a friend or a family member that's going to keep you motivated. Because we all know there's enough naysayers out there for all to go around. But
Right.
connect with that individual that's going to check on you and say, okay, now, how many carrots did you eat today? Or how many
Yeah.
steps did you walk today? And my
Yeah.
kids got it bad because I can't stand water, but they'll tell Mama, did you eat drink some water today? So
Uh,
that source of encouragement and support will make a difference. But you just one step at a time. That's all. Even if it's a small step. Even trying to write this book, it wasn't like I sat down in one day and just said, okay, let me write this. It might have
nope.
been 2 or 3 sentences one day, a
Yep.
paragraph the next, but I was forward motion, and that's what makes the difference.
And the affirmations are for you to start to retain different information so that you can start to think differently. The affirmations remind you of who you really are and what you really can do. So it's just programming your mind to take out the negative and bring in the positive, right? To help you exercise, I'm sure, in your book, these new habits that you can adopt that will move you in a direction of where you want to be versus where you are right now.
And I like how you said that. You said you're taking out the negative and you're replacing it with positive. And people have to understand you can't give what you don't have. And that's
Come
something that
on.
always told when I'm working with the teachers in the classroom, even as a principal, it's important that they understand, how can I give you that love and support if I don't have it, or
Hmm.
that excitement for learning and
Exactly.
education. Our teachers are under a lot of pressure now and they're stressed, but you
Mm.
have to take time for yourself and build yourself up so you have something to give. Because people will tell you all day, my kids will call all the time. I'm gonna need $100. Oh, well, I can't go to that ATM if it's empty. I gotta
Right.
have some money in it before I can get some money out. So how I'm gonna give you what I don't have? So make sure
Exactly.
we are filled and we're full and we can give to somebody else so we can be more effective. But I think that's so true. You're replacing that negative with the positive. Well, make sure you're filling your bucket so you'll be
That's
able to
right.
give somebody else something and encourage them so they can move along.
They hear me say this all the time. You know, when they say in the Bible, your cup runneth over. The cup is for you.
Mhm.
Everything that runneth over is for everybody else. But if your cup is not full, then you can't give anyone anything,
Mhm.
right? So, Dr. Bradford, how can we find this book? How can we follow you? And let us know the stuff that you have coming up.
And one more thing, if you don't
Yeah,
mind, you just made a very important point about the cup running over. And I just want to say, I know everyone may or may not have kids,
yeah,
but you have a cousin or you have a friend, you have someone that you're concerned about. And you know, when they get in a bind in life, you always have the best advice for them. Girl, you
yeah.
know you shouldn't do that. Or girl, I know, But are we taking the advice that we give? And then that brings
Mm,
me back to those childhood years because we'll tell our babies as they're growing up, you can go ahead and go in that school. Don't worry about what they saying about you, honey. Don't worry
yeah,
about how your hair looks. Oh, but then as
mhm,
adults, what about us?
that's
No,
right.
I can't go up there. They gonna say something about me.
That's
Or
right.
I can't talk to my boss or I can't ask a question. They gonna get upset. But how you gonna give somebody advice that you're not willing to take for yourself? So while
Right.
we're building up our children, our kids, our nieces and nephews, even our friends in the neighborhood, they're watching everything you do. So make
Sure
sure
is.
the advice that you give them is the advice that can apply to your life and that you're willing to accept and utilize. But that's
Wow.
enough about what I'm trying to say. I am on Maintain the Flame. It's all one word. They can get my book. Let me show you.
Hmm.
One step, it's all the same.
Hey,
And it's at www.maintaintheflame.net, all one word. And I am interested in getting out there. I've been doing some traveling a little bit, but nowhere near as much because, you know, of course, with COVID.
yeah,
But I'm looking forward to conferences, getting into schools, working with our educators and keeping them inspired and making sure that their fire is lit so they can give 110% to not only their families, but also to the kids that they work with on a daily basis.
that's awesome. And what is your social media handle so everyone can follow you?
My Instagram is Maintain the Flame, all one word.
Okay.
And and it's the same for Facebook, I believe.
Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, so maintain the flame on all of the
Everything.
platforms.
Yeah.
If not, we'll find it and we'll post it and we'll make sure everybody gets it. Okay.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. My babies, you know they're young. They know all of that.
Uh-huh. I
So,
know it. I know it because I don't do mine either. I just say, I always look before I have an interview. Be
yeah.
like, let me check out the name right.
Yes.
Dr. Bradford, thank you so much for being here. I definitely appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to, working with you and, you possibly coming to speak to our women. And I think this will be a good relationship.
Well, I love your spirit and I love what you're doing. Keep blessing others and making their impact. You're doing some great work and I really appreciate it on behalf of everyone else. You're definitely blessed.
Thank you so much. So, ladies, this is it. Please go get Dr. Bradford's book. Go to her website, Maintain the Flame. Follow her on all social media platforms, Maintain the Flame. We will put the links and everything below. And Dr. Bradford, you have a good evening, okay?
You do the same. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
Good night.